What's up everyone, my name is Anthony, and in this video I'm going to do an update on the status of the broader markets and dive into the price action that we got over this past week or so, and then go over the price projections that we have over the next week. So first I want to start off on the S&P 500, which is here in SPY. So overall for the past couple of trading days we've gotten a lot of choppy price action, and I want to try to break it down as best as I can because this is a little bit difficult to decipher, especially when you get a lot of up and down price action within a confined range. So typically what we're seeing right now, if we zoom out a little bit, nothing is changing about the broader term time frame counts, or even just like stuff not on the minute by minute details. The count is still exactly the same. All we're doing is kind of presenting some adjustments to this very small degree time frame wave count and technical analysis. So just to zoom out a bit, I want to focus on this last bit of upside here for this wave 5. So as you know, wave 5 subdivide into impulsive waves. So we have that wave 1 up, wave 2 down, wave 3 up here, and then we're trying to target that wave 4 of downside right over here. And we should come up one last time for a wave 5. And I want to focus on zooming in on this bit of price action over here, because this can present two different types of counts. So once again, we're just only adjusting and observing the technical analysis on this really confined range of time. But everything else before that is still good. Everything looks fundamentally good. So we should get that wave 4 dip in the future. So I want to present two counts. So the first one is going to be where this wave 4 right here is actually extending all the way down to here. And this is a start of this wave 5 upwards. So essentially we're just shifting this wave 5 to happen a little bit later. I actually right now, with today's price action, I do not prefer this count. I posted this in the Discord where this would be a potential alternate count, and it had roughly around a 50% probability chance of happening along with the original count. But right now, I actually do think that this is the main count is what's happening right now, because as you can see, if we zoom in on this bit of upside that we got today, this is completely non-impulsive. It's a complete nightmare to try to count. So say when I say that, I mean that if we're trying to count this as an impulsive wave, so if we're starting a wave 5 here, so this is the bottom, if we say this is the bottom of the wave 4, and we're working on a wave 5 upwards, that means that wave 5 has to be impulsive. And that means you have to count it like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 structure. So if we try to do that, it's incredibly hard. So if we try to do that, we would have to force some kind of maybe like a 1, 2, and this is a 3, and then something like a 4, 5. But because we fell below this wave 1 area right here, that means that it kind of invalidates our wave count. So if we tried to count impulsively upwards, this wave 4 crossed into that wave 1 territory. So by default, that does not mean we have an impulsive structure going on. So with today's price action, we've actually invalidated that count. And I want to refer back to the original count that we had where we have a WXY to the downside. And of course, on next week's price action, we will definitely confirm what we have going on, especially if we keep retracing to these lower retracement levels. But overall, for this X wave, we are sitting at, I think, the 0.786 retracement levels right here. So we have tried to go past those retracement levels up here of that W wave down, and we failed. We rejected at that level, and we started to roll away from that, which is a good sign. And because this is a WXY structure, this X wave can go up decently high, and that's what we're seeing right now. So for the next week, I do want to see this Y wave downwards, and this Y wave would simply take on some kind of ABC structure. So something like an ABC downwards, and that would help bring it down to some of these lower retracement levels right around 447 and 449, 450. And if we do get a strong C wave downwards, or just a strong Y wave downwards, we could even see it go down as far as 445. So that's what I'm trying to target with some of the puts on SPY and the triple Qs. So with that, I am still bearish. I'm looking for that wave 4 drop in the future. And even if we do bottom out for a wave 4 here, and we're coming up for a wave 5 in the future, it doesn't really matter because we're still going to come down for this wave 4 in the future. So it doesn't really change much fundamentally in terms of the price projections. I just want to bring up that alternate count to try to get as accurate of a picture of the markets as we can. So next we'll go into the NASDAQ. So NASDAQ, we're seeing a very similar type of action. I think the wave counts are pretty much identical. So just to zoom out a bit, we once again have this impulsive structure going upwards. So we have that wave 1, 2, very extended wave 3, then a wave 4 down, which we're trying to target right now with puts, and then a wave 5 upwards. And that will complete that kind of bull market like rally since the COVID drop. So right now it looks like we're trying to form that wave 4 as well. And as you can see, this move upwards that we got today is even more non-impulsive. There's no way you can pretty much count this. that will form an impulsive structure. You could really try to force something, like if you wanted to do a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is kind of like some really staggered fifth wave. You could technically try to force that, but just with this amount of up and down choppiness, from what I've seen previously, this is very indicative of just an X wave upwards. So next week, if we do continue to keep pushing upwards and it looks impulsive, then we will have to move this fourth wave down here, and then we're working on a fifth wave to the upside. But once again, that doesn't really change anything fundamentally about the fact that we're going to get this fourth wave drop in the future. So that's why I'm still trying to target this downside with puts. So just with like the S&P 500, the Qs is actually retracing to that 0.786 perfectly. So it did reject off that 3 times. We have a triple top pattern right here. So we rejected off that 0.786 once, twice, and 3 times. So now I would expect that Y wave to start shooting downwards in the future. And once again, this would take on an ABC correction. So that would really help bring some more downside as well to QQQ. And that's what I'm trying to look to target. So overall, things are looking bearish temporarily for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ sector. And once we do bottom out for this fourth wave, so once again for the triple Qs, the price targets would be somewhere around 375 to 378-ish. I would lean more towards these lower retracement levels. So maybe around 370, even 372, we can go as far as that. And 374, I would target these areas mostly for areas of bounce for that fifth wave up. And after we get this fifth wave to the upside, then I would expect everything to sell off pretty decently. So we'll see what happens in the future. But right now, I'm looking to target this wave 4 of downside. So next on the VIX. So I want to point out that these trend lines that I mentioned in past videos have really been acting as support and resistance on the way up and down. So this morning, when we did gap down due to the bad jobs earnings report, or just the job news, we did touch resistance on VIX right here at around 17, and then we rejected it, and that's why that's what caused the indexes and allowed the indexes to continue moving upwards in this kind of X wave formation. So now the VIX has cooled down a bit, and we are approaching these trendline resistances and supports once again. So if we do see this push downwards for that wave 4, I would expect the VIX to easily gap up above these resistances and supports and head upwards into probably these areas of territory. So maybe around 20. So somewhere around here. So we would see a push upwards in VIX with this wave 4 of downside. So looks like VIX is heading upwards in the future, especially if you get that drop in the indexes. Next, I want to go over Moderna or mRNA stock. So actually, mRNA stocks, as you can clearly see from the stock, is very volatile. And we were up 4.79% today, but I still think that this is part of this X wave to the upside in a failed impulsive wave. So the reason why I'm still looking to target more downside of this stock is because over here, if we zoom out on this upside right here, so we have that really extended wave 5, and I have drawn out the retracement levels, some of the retracement levels of this move to the downside over here. So this yellow box and these yellow boxes right here are areas that we should expect the stock to gravitate towards, just as a simple means of correcting this upside move, because this is very extended and is not sustainable over the long term. So we should see a push downwards for this Y wave. And of course, the first targets are still going to be anywhere around this yellow box right here. And I know there's a lot of charting and labeling, but if we kind of break down the main components of this price action, we do have an A, B, C forming in the meantime. So we have an A, B, C. And based on this current price action, I do actually want to adjust the B wave a little bit. So I want to actually present this as a potential continuation of the B wave. So we have that A and then a B wave as this whole structure here. So if you wanted to be really specific about what this B wave is, this would just be an WXY wave. So we would have a W for this triangular consolidation pattern, and then X meaning a failed impulsive wave to the downside. And then we're working on a Y right here. So if we have that pattern, this would explain why the B wave is kind of having a little bit of trouble going to the downside, because it did attempt to move downwards and it failed to do so. So it failed to really go down to these lower levels. So that's indicative of an X wave. So that doesn't really change anything about the fact that Moderna should be heading downwards in the future. It just means that we're still in this formation of a B wave, and we need to fall for that C wave in the future. And when we do get the start of that C wave, that should be a very steep decline in the stock price. But for now, we are hovering around we're approaching resistances right around 427 if we do get up there. So this is just a 1.272 retracement zone, and I do expect the B wave to have some trouble getting through that if we do have that price action come up to this level. But nothing has changed about Moderna in terms of the fact that it should be heading downwards in the future, and we're just having a complex correction in the meantime, which will extend the stock a little bit further out before you start to see some significant downside to the stock over here for the C wave. So that's going to be an update for Moderna, and of course I'll keep updates as necessary if anything changes. So far nothing really significant has changed in the stock. It's just volatile, and that's just a natural feature of these WXY patterns. So next on the list will be AMC. So AMC is actually very interesting. I want to do a pretty comprehensive overview of this stock. So and there's a lot of labeling and charting in this, so I'm going to try to clean it up and point out the main things that are most important. So overall, we have a wave 1 up, wave 2 down, wave 3 up, and then we bottom out for this wave 4 correction right here. And right now it looks like we're working on this wave 5 to the upside. So over here we're working on this wave 5, and I want to dissect that wave 5 further. So to do that, we're going to go down to the 5-minute time frame. And so within this wave 5, as I mentioned previously in stocks like SPY and the triple Qs, that wave 5 will form an impulsive structure. So that means we move up in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I actually want to label this differently. So over here, we're zooming in on like very minute details of the time frame, so I can actually get rid of some of these retracement levels. And what I do see happening here is we get rid of this impulsive structure and we put the wave 3 here, and then a wave 4, and then a wave 5 on the top right here. So this is what I'm seeing in terms of AMC, and this would complete your wave 3. So to zoom out a little bit, just to make that more clear, we have a 1, 2, 3 finishing up here, and within this wave 3, you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and of course that wave 5 subdivides into your impulsive structure right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this would complete your wave 3. And now we're working on this wave 4 of downside. And of course, if you want to get the perfect retracement levels of this wave 4, you would get something like around here. So this wave 4 should bottom out around the lower extension levels. So we do have somewhere around here, and we are kind of approaching and hovering around that area of support in terms of Fibonacci retracement levels. So I do expect a wave 5 bounce in the future. So, and as you know, AMC really likes to extend their wave 5s. So this wave 5 would form some kind of impulsive structure to the upside, and that could really take it pretty far. So I'm still very bullish on AMC. And for those of you in the Discord, we're holding shares. So as long as we have that strict stop loss at around 38.7, which I've been mentioning, 38.7 is the area of this wave 1 top. So the moment we cross into this wave 1 territory, this wave count will be invalidated. But so far, nothing has even come close to invalidating that yet. And we are just consolidating for this wave 4. So as long as you don't fall below this wave 1 top here, things are looking good. There's no need to really obsess over the tiny little minute by minute details of the stock, because it should be heading upwards in the future for this wave 5, as long as we don't fall below our stop loss. So very simple trade, just doing shares, no options. And so after we kind of find support for this wave 4, we should see the stock push upwards for that wave 5. So things are looking bullish for this stock, and I would recommend getting still in on shares as long as you can get a good fill and a good buy at support levels. So next on the list, I actually had a lot of requests to do BBIG stock, which is just Vinco Ventures. So I really don't prefer trading these type of stocks that gap up and move up significantly in one day, because as you know, they sell, as I've been like mentioning in Discord, they like selling off a lot, especially after you hit the very high extensions. So for example, this stock went up, I think, 460% just from these bottoms right here. And that's just a pretty unsustainable bullish move. So if we're dividing this and subdividing this wave count, we have a clear impulsive structure. So we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this wave 5 is extremely extended. So a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can subdivide that further. And this is kind of just like Moderna as well. Moderna had that similarly very extended wave 5 structure that took it up to really high levels. And same thing with BBIG stock. And I think that upside is complete. The bullish impulsive move looks like it's finished. So now we'd be working on some kind of ABC correction. So I do see it kind of falling further downwards to some retracement levels, and here are the retracement levels as well. So we do, for these type of stocks that just keep falling after they go off really hard, they typically tend to gravitate towards these very low retracement levels, so somewhere around $4 to $5 even. So I know that sounds a little bit like a lot of decline that might happen in the future. So that's around like a 25% to even a 44% more drop in the stock. And that is very feasible that could happen to the stock. So I would definitely not recommend take any bullish positions any longer on this stock, as it looks to be cracking that major upside move. And the structure could either be an ABC or a WXY. Either way, it'll take the stock down to some of these retracement levels down here, where it may find support. But for now, I'm definitely not bullish on BBIG. It looks like it will continue to fall to these lower retracement levels. And it's not to say that there won't be any temporary bounces in the stock, as if this is the A wave, you could get a B wave upwards in the future, just kind of like a short-lived, non-impulsive structure to attempt to recover, and the buyers try to recover some of their losses if they're trying to play bullish on the stock. And then once they realize that it's starting to sell off and there's not much sustainable momentum, then it will just start to really head downwards for that C wave. SPRT is a very similar type of stock, and I do have 2 alternate counts. It's very similar to BBIG stock, in which it did come up for a very extended push to the upside. And there is the count that I prefer, where it's going for a 3, 4, and then a 5. So this means that the bullish impulsive sequence was already completed. So a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now it's working on that retracement. And as you can see here, it's already retraced a lot of those of that push to the upside, and it actually has gravitated right towards that 0.786 to 0.618 area, as I mentioned in BBIG as well. And so now we could expect this to form possibly an A wave, and then we might get a B wave push to the upside in the future, and then we would head further downwards for this C wave. I don't think it would head as far as I think it marks like $5 here, but maybe it just finds some support somewhere around these Fibonacci retracement zones as well. But yeah, stocks like this that pop up really hard in one day, I would just avoid trading them. If you can short them, because that's like a lot of free money just by getting some of this downside if you can possibly get in on the top. But yeah, it does not look bullish to me. These stocks will look to continuously lose buyers and momentum as it falls down to the lower retracement levels. So that's going to be an update on the markets, as well as some specific stock picks and highly requested stocks. And of course, I'll keep you guys updated in Discord with what happens next week and here on YouTube as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.